Hi, my name is Megan Powers. I'm a criminal justice major here at SVSU. I also have a double minor in sociology and in communications, or that's what I'm going for. Um, I am in my fourth year here, and I am to actually graduate this May. And so the media piece that I focused on in this paper was the movie Divergent. It's about a world that has five, or if you really think about it, six factions. There's the abnegation faction, erudite, amity, dauntless, and candor. And then that sixth faction is actually kind of the faction list, that consists of people who have been kicked out of their faction, and once you're kicked out, you can't go back, and you're very much looked down upon. And so the abnegation faction are the selfless ones, amity are the kind ones, erudite are the intelligent ones, dauntless are the fearless ones, and candor are the honest ones. And the protagonist in this movie is Beatrice Pryor, who also later on goes by the name Triss. And she was born into the abnegation faction, so the selfless ones. But when it comes time for her to be claimed as an adult and go to the choosing ceremony and choose what faction she is to be in, she actually chooses Dauntless. And the reason for this is because prior to the choosing ceremony, all these kids are to take a test of which will show them what faction they actually fit best in, whether it's the one they're raised in or a different one. But when Triss took the test, it showed it was inconclusive, meaning she was divergent, which meant she fit into multiple categories, which was something that is not that common in this population. And those that are divergent are seen to be as dangerous because they don't fit into that. Everyone has a certain, rule and method and role in that society. And so sorry, she chooses Dauntless at the ceremony, like I had said, but she's faced with many challenges there, but it's also there that she gains a lot of confidence and really stands up and fights for what's right. And so she starts a battle with all the factions kind of against the antagonist, which is Janine, who's the leader of Erudite, who is trying to get rid of all that are divergent. Sorry. So the first scene that I chose and the framework that goes with it is Freud's id, ego, and superego, and it's with the choosing ceremony scene. And so in the scene that I chose, there really is not much dialogue. There's one person who really talks throughout it, and he says about 5 words. Actually, 3. But right before the scene starts, Triss's brother chooses erudite, and he was originally from abnegation as well. And so that put another stressor on Triss for what she should choose. Should she stay in abnegation? Should she go to what she really thinks she should fit into? And so as she goes up there, what happens is you cut your hand and then you put your blood on the coals of whatever bowl it is that you're choosing for your faction, candor, erudite, amity, dauntless, or abnegation. And so for the longest time, it looks like she's going to go and stay with abnegation. But then at the last second, she chooses dauntless. And so then after that moment, you hear all of the dauntless crowd cheering, but you can also see like the gasps and everything from all those in abnegation, because abnegation, again, is the selfless team, or faction, I should say. And that's not common for people to leave from it, and especially 2 people from the same family. And so this definitely fits in with Freud's id, ego, and superego, because the id is the part of the mind that, it's all about satisfaction and, doing what you want, not what maybe means the best, where the superego is all about doing everything that's right. The ego is kind of the battleground that has to choose between the two and make sense of the both of those opinions. And so the superego for Triss at that moment was saying, stay in abnegation. Your brother just left. Your parents need you. It's the right thing to do. But her id is saying, no, go with the dauntless. You think they're cool. Yeah. That's what you really want to do. In your heart, that's what you want to do. And in this case, her id kind of won over because that's what she ended up choosing. For the second theory framework that I chose opportunity theory. And the scene that this went with was when Triss had woken up from kind of a coma-ish thing. She was out for a day after being beaten from one of the training exercises that the Dauntless had put on. And she woke up, and her friend Will and Christina were beside her, and they basically told her that she was cut and that she was no longer in Dauntless. And so that meant that she would have been factionless. And they went off to do another tactical game, a war game. And then Triss, instead of taking what was told, she ran after, and she was like, you know what? No, I'm not factionless. I'm still in this. I still deserve to be here. So then she runs after the train, jumps onto the train, and the leader of the trainees is like, well, who let you out? And she says, well, I did. And he takes a quick pause, and he's like, you know what? Okay, fine. And then he walks away. And I really think that that's a good explanation of opportunity theory, because she didn't just take what was told of her, or told of what her situation was. She took the opportunity of showing them that they were wrong and showing them that she deserves to be there. And it worked out for her. She was not factionless. She was still in Dauntless because of how she just portrayed herself in that moment. For my oppositional reading piece, I chose a parody of the movie Divergent. It was kind of like a parody of the clips beforehand. And so it showed Janine in this parody talking to all these kids saying, you know, you're going to stay in this faction forever. You need to choose this right now. And then it pans to all the kids, and none of them are paying attention. No one really cares. No one's really listening. They're throwing paper airplanes across the room, things like that nature. And then it just makes fun of silly little things, like Triss at one point gets tattoos of birds to represent her family members, and then in the parody, it's instead of just like the blackbirds that Triss had, it was the angry birds. So it was just silly things of that nature. But I definitely think the clip with Janine and then the students really links it back together, and it just shows like, wow, they really are making these young kids choose what they want to do for the rest of their life, and they cannot change. Otherwise, they will be looked down upon. They will be shunned from society and things of that nature. And I really think that also has something to say about our society, because that's kind of, we don't shun, but it's definitely not praised if you change your major or you don't go to college or things of that nature. And like a lot of kids don't take it seriously until it's too late, or things, it's, you know, farther along than society thinks was a good time to start college or whatnot. And so, yeah, that was my piece.